Well, let's rejoin now Professor Mammo Muchie from Tshwane University of Technology to discuss the situation in Tigray, where the Ethiopian central government has been on the offensive. Professor, good day to you, and thank you very much indeed for your time. It seemed at the beginning of this that the Ethiopian central government would surely win. It is much bigger than the Tigray region, but this conflict has now gone on for a very long time. Why is it taking so long to resolve?
Yeah, thank you very much again for focusing on this difficult situation Ethiopia is in at the moment. You are right. When the federal government went to Tigray after the federal army was, they were sleeping, we're told, and then they were massacred. And then there was another massacre called Baikadra massacre, where ethnic people called the Amhara were also massacred. Because of that reason, the government said they intervened in Tigray because of these threats that the Tigray People's Liberation Front did. They were not, I think, ready to go to the war. They were not, I don't think they prepared to go to war. They actually intervened because they were forced by these massacres that happened to the army that was supposed to protect the Tigray area when there was conflict between Ethiopia and Eritrea. The federal forces were sent in Tigray, and there were thousands of them were there, and that's what happened. Now, what it means is when the government intervened, the idea was that they will finish the conflict by saying that they will make sure rule of law is retained both in Tigray and all the areas of Ethiopia. That's the main reason they say they went to the war, not to fight as a war, but to actually make sure that the rule of law is obeyed and that the Tigrayan army, the Tigray Liberation Front leadership are also taken. So what they did is, if you remember, some of the leaders were killed, some of the leaders were arrested, but some, I think, disappeared in the area, went to the mountain area. And that's what happened.
Professor, I'm sorry to interrupt. I sort of hear you on this, but is there a risk now that this conflict will spread? It'll move from Tigray to other parts of Ethiopia? It
has already done. What we saw is the federal army did a unilateral ceasefire. After the ceasefire, the Tigray People's Liberation Front started escalating the war into the different regions of Ethiopia, in the Afar area region, in what is called the Amhara area. They spread it, and at the same time, they started making alliance with what is called the Oromo Liberation Front, Tshwane, and then started also spreading it in the Western Welega, Benishangul, Metekel, in all other areas. So what you are seeing now is that the conflict is spreading, and then now what we are hearing is that they have been also escalating it in the place called Gondar, Dabat, and all these areas, and Wollo. Even the historic area, the historic Lalibela, the great history, is a great source for all of Africa. That is now under threat. It's a UNESCO acknowledged heritage, and that is now also under threat. It has not been really rescued from what is going on now. So what you are seeing is a spreading of the war, and I think the conflict is still going on, and I think what my advice is, the entire world now should say to these forces that are doing this war is ethnic-based war, which is not good. Plus, they are using children as soldiers. Because of this, they should be really denounced very seriously, and then be told to stop the war completely. The Tigray People's Liberation Front must stop it. They have to do that then I think the government must also follow that up. Then there should be, after that, a post-conflict situation in Ethiopia should arrive very soon. Otherwise, a lot of people are dying, which is not good.
Professor?
It's like call it a political coronavirus is happening, is now affecting Ethiopia very much.
Professor Mammo Muchie from the Tshwane University of Technology, thank you very much indeed. Well,